del aceite no se mezclan porque las partículas del aceite pesan menos y las partículas del agua pesan más. Y el vinagre, el jabón y
el vinagre y el zumo
no se mezclan porque los tres pesan lo mismo.
Las partículas de estos tres
partículas de los tres
pesan lo mismo, por lo tanto, sí que se pueden mezclar.
As you can see, when we mix both substances, the oil remains at the top of the glass, so we can differentiate both of them. It is an heterogeneous mixture. We have juice and water. Both substances have mixed all together and we cannot differentiate them, so it is an homogeneous mixture. So now it's time for vinegar and water. As you can see, if we mix the vinegar with the water, they form also an homogeneous mixture. It is, we cannot differentiate both substances. The last one is soap and water. As we can see when we mix them, the soap remains at the bottom of the glass. So it is an heterogeneous mixture since we can differentiate both substances.
Porque el jabón es como un líquido medio sólido y se cae abajo.
¿Y eso por qué crees que puede pasar? Porque no es un líquido como el agua, quieres decir. Y explicándolo con las partículas, como lo explicabas antes.
Las partículas pesan más.
Las partículas del jabón
también
pesan más que las partículas del agua, por lo tanto se quedan
abajo.
We have oranges as water particles and apples as oil particles, and we are going to explain why these two substances form an heterogeneous mixture. As you can see, both particles have more or less the same size. So when we put the oil above the water, although we try to mix it by shaking it, the oil particles cannot enter or fill the gaps between the water particles. So the water stays at the bottom and the oil stays at the top. As before, oranges are water particles and pears are soap particles, and we are going to do the same. Let's remember that between the particles there is a gap. It is nowhere, it is the vacuum. So as the same that happened with the oil, both particles have more or less the same size. So when we try to mix them, and by shaking it, water particles and soap particles won't get together, since as they have the same size, they cannot fit on the gaps. It's time for homogeneous mixtures. Almonds are going to represent vinegar particles, and oranges are going to represent still water particles. Both particles have different sizes since almonds are smaller than oranges. So what do you think that will happen? As you can see, the almonds are getting inside the gaps between the water particles. So if we shake it, so we mix them, the almonds, the vinegar particles are going to fit inside the holes of the water particles, and all the recipient is filled by both particles. Last, we have nuts representing juice particles and oranges representing water particles. So, as we have seen before with the vinegar, juice particles are smaller than water particles, so they are going to fill the gaps that there are between water particles. Do you understand until here? So, as you can see, when we shake them, the nuts fill the holes between the oranges. And at the end, we have an homogeneous mixture with both substances filling all the recipient.